What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to talk about just kind of some basic fundamentals about how to hold a guitar flat pick. I think this is something that's super important for beginners to kind of get it right, but at the same time, it's not something that is supposed to be totally set in stone. If you look at guitar players out there, there's really a lot of different ways to hold a flat pick. So I just wanted to make a quick lesson about kind of how I hold the flat pick and some of the technical aspects of the way that the pick interacts with the strings. So let's check it out. All right, so let's talk about how to hold a flat pick now. So I think the number one most important thing when it comes to holding your flat pick is the grip. So the grip that you're kind of using to hold your pick. So I see a lot of beginner guitarists kind of hold their pick in between the pads of their two fingers. And this is not the right way to hold a pick because you don't really have the stability that you need. So having a good grip on the pick is important. So what I would say for how to get a good stable grip is try to hold your wrist at an angle so that you can really balance the pick on the inside of your index finger on your picking hand. So you can kind of see here, I don't even have a hold on it with my thumb. It's just simply balancing there on the inside kind of first knuckle of my index finger on my picking hand. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you the correct wrist angle. So your wrists, I truly believe they should be sort of horizontal to the strings. And your pick should be horizontal to the strings as well. If you think about kind of the flat part of the pick being horizontal to the strings. So if you're able to balance your pick there on your index finger like this, all you have to do is just place your thumb on top of it to kind of secure it in place. So that's kind of how you should grip the pick, like that. And if you look here, I actually have the pick kind of right over my first knuckle here. And that's where I'm kind of balancing it, like that. And then I'm just kind of coming in with my thumb and just holding onto it. And the thumb is where you have your feel. The nerves on the pad of your thumb are going to be where you're going to get your feel of how light you're playing or the dynamics of the music you're playing. So I would say that's kind of the grip that you should use. And I use one of these kind of big triangle style picks. And that's why I like these picks, because they feel, you can feel it in your hands really well. And I'm a big fan of the rest stroke, which is where you pluck a string and the pick kind of rests on the string below it. And so these techniques kind of go together. Another important aspect of holding your pick is how much of the pick is actually extending out, right, to pluck the string. And I would say it's about a third. So it's about and when you have one of these kind of triangle style picks, you can kind of think of that bit that extends out as kind of like the lower third of the pick. So you've got 2/3 of the pick underneath the pad of your thumb and resting on your knuckle, and the rest, or the other third of the pick, kind of sticking out. And I've had people comment, I think, that their pick is there's too much sticking out, and it should never be hitting the wood on the inside of your guitar here. It should never be extending out so that it's hitting the wood of your guitar. It should always be kind of just sticking out a little bit, like I said, about a third. And that's going to allow you to pick lightly, which is important for bluegrass style music, or really any kind of music, to pick lightly. And that's the key to picking fast as well. But if you watch the great pickers, the really great pickers like Tony Rice or Norman Blake, you'll notice that, especially with Tony Rice, there's a lot of use of this thumb here to create nuance. And so that's kind of how I hold my pick. And when it comes to strumming, the actual strumming technique, you want to make sure that you're strumming with a very light attack and that you're really just kind of skimming across the top of the strings and creating a nice even sound, almost like all the strings are being struck at once. So you can't really, even though you're starting with these lower register strings and ending up on the higher register strings for downstrokes, it still sounds like just kind of one hit. And you can see that I'm bringing my hand ends up way down here, kind of underneath the strings. And so same thing for the upstrokes, you know, there's a lot of recoil there where I'm kind of landing at the bottom of those strings. And I also have like maybe one or two fingers just kind of touching the pick guard. And that's something I've always done out of habit. I'm not a fan of the floating pick technique. It's not something I ever got used to doing, but for me, I like kind of just resting a finger or two. It's not on there really hard. It's just sort of touching as sort of a general anchor point. It really doesn't matter whether you're on the front or on the back of the pick. All that matters is that you're playing with good dynamics and with a nice even attack, and generally kind of on the light side. There's going to be times where you're going to play harder to emphasize certain parts of the song, but really you're just kind of playing in a very light, kind of even way, with a nice, solid, firm hold on the pick. And there's a lot of wrist movement here as well, so you want to keep your wrist light while you're doing this.